if you know what you are doing, you can get highly targeted traffic. I'm talking about people that are really interested on the content that you have inside of your website. And the third reason is, if you get more traffic coming from Google, you can also do a lot more money on the internet. So in this video, I'm going to talk about SEO. Buckle up your seatbelt and let's get started. Okay, so the first question is, what is SEO? Well, SEO is nothing more than you optimizing your own website so you can achieve better results inside of Google search engine for the search term that you're targeting. And a search term is basically anything that you go to Google and you type in inside of this small search box because you want to find relevant websites to that topic so you can read more information about that topic. So for example, let's say that I wanted to bake some chocolate chip cookies and I wanted to find some really amazing recipes related to that. So what I would do was I would go over here and I would write something like best chocolate chip cookie recipe. And this over here is exactly what a search term is, or you can also call it a keyword. Now once I press Google search, you can see that I immediately get a listing of 10 website pages related to best chocolate chip cookie recipe. Now let's say that I'm the person who is trying to find more information about this, and you're the person who has a website page related to best chocolate chip cookie recipe. What you would want to accomplish through SEO was you would want that website page appearing on the first page of results, which is this one, for best chocolate chip cookie recipe. And the reason why you would want to accomplish that is because this first page of results, these websites over here are the ones that are receiving the most visitors, because as you can see below, you have several pages all related to the same topic, but quite honestly, it's very rare for anyone to actually go to the second or to the third page, and very less to the fourth page of results. So what most people do is they search for something, let's say best chocolate chip cookie recipe, and they stick on this first page of results and they go to one of these websites that they can see over here. And most commonly what they do is they search for something and they immediately go to the three first websites that they can see on this listing. And I bet that this first website that you can see on this listing, this first website over here is certainly the one that is receiving the most visitors from all of the websites appearing on this listing. So that's exactly what you are trying to accomplish when it comes to SEO. You want your website to rank well on this listing so you can get more and more visitors. So you want to at least try to rank on the first page of results for any search term, and if possible on the three first positions of this listing, because those are the websites that will receive the most traffic from them all. And when it comes to SEO, there are two parts to it. You have on-page SEO, and on-page SEO is basically anything that you can do inside of your website so you can achieve better results inside of Google search engine. And then you have off-page SEO, which is basically everything that you do outside of your website so you can achieve better results in Google search engine. So let's start by talking about on-page SEO. For you to understand why you need to do SEO when it comes to your website, the first thing that you need to understand is how exactly does Google search engine actually works. And over here in front of you, you have a very basic image explaining exactly that. It's important to notice it's not humans that perform all of this work. It's not humans that go from one website page to another, analyze all of their content, and see exactly where that website page needs to appear inside of Google's listing. Because that would be very time consuming, it would be very monotonous, because every single day new websites are appearing, older websites are updating their content, publishing new content, so it would be nearly impossible for people to perform all of that work. What we have is robots, or you can also call them crawlers. These are programs made by Google, and basically what they do is they go from one website, they analyze their content, see exactly what that website page talks about, and based on all of that information they gather, they know exactly where that website page needs to appear inside of Google's listing. And afterwards, they perform the same action. They jump to another website page, perform the same action, analyze their content, and do exactly the same thing. So let's imagine that this is one of your website pages. What happens is a crawler goes to one of your website pages, sees the keywords that you have inside of that website page, and as I said, the keyword is nothing more than a search term, and based on those keywords, they know exactly what that website page talks about, and also based on the words that you have inside of that page. Because in that page you are talking about a specific niche, then many times you use words that belong to that niche, and based on all of that information, those robots know exactly what that page talks about and where it needs to appear inside of Google listing. Afterwards, what happens is they follow the links that you have inside of that website page. And many times this may be a link to another website page that you have inside of your site. Or for example, if in that website page you have a link to Wikipedia, to a Wikipedia page, what happens is the robot will follow that link, it will go to that Wikipedia page and basically perform the same action of analyzing that page content and see exactly what it talks about. So basically that's what the robots do, and they perform the same action over and over again and basically navigate throughout the web just trying to find new content so they can index it inside of Google listings. On-page SEO has changed a lot throughout the years, and by this I mean in the past all that you needed to do to get a good ranking on Google was basically spam your keywords throughout your website several times. And fortunately things have changed a lot since then, and you shouldn't do that, because if you just spam your keyword everywhere possible inside of your website, you will actually get penalized by Google. Nowadays it's more important about thinking about user experience. By this I mean people going to your website and having an overall good experience inside of your website. This depends on a lot of different factors, most which I'm going to talk about throughout this video. For example, it depends on providing high quality content inside of your website, providing relevant content inside of your website, also having a good navigation inside of your website. And if you want to get better ideas of what exactly you need to do after watching this video, something that you can do is simply going to more popular websites inside of your niche and seeing exactly how they are structuring their own content. Because if they are just sitting on the internet, then certainly they are doing something right, and you can also imitate their structure inside of their content. But I'm not saying for you to copy their content, because you should never do that. I'm just saying for you to see exactly what they are doing. Probably they are providing high quality images, they are providing a lot of instructions inside of their content. They might even be providing videos inside of their content. So just get an idea of what they are doing and try to do it the same thing inside of your website. Another website where you can go is called Wikipedia, because typically the content that Wikipedia has is well SEO'd, and you can see after you watch this video, you can see exactly they putting the things that I'm going to talk about throughout this video in practice throughout their website pages. Okay, so let's talk about the first thing that you should always be cautious when it comes to SEO. So the first thing that you should pay attention on your website is see that if you have a responsive theme installed. In this case, I'm using WordPress, and most themes that you can install nowadays are immediately responsive. This is very important because more and more people are using mobiles and cell phones to go to your website and other websites out there. And it's important for you to have a layout in your website which will automatically adjust to their screen so they can see your website easily. And it's not only because of that. It's also because recently Google came out with a new update called Mobile Geddon, and basically they will penalize every single website which aren't mobile friendly. For you to see if your website is mobile friendly, all that you need to do is just grab the window where you have your website and just decrease the window size until you have the size of a mobile screen. And if you see that your website automatically adjusts to the screen, then that means that it's mobile friendly. If it doesn't adjust to this screen size, then it's not mobile friendly, and I recommend if you are using WordPress to install a new theme that is mobile friendly, or if you aren't using mobile friendly, then you probably need to program that theme so it can be responsive. But whatever you do, make sure that you have a responsive theme installed on your WordPress website. Another part that is really important nowadays is the upload time of your website. And this is basically the amount of time that your website takes to upload on someone's computer, mobile, cell phone screen, and so on. And especially nowadays, because most people are using mobiles and cell phones, they are on the go, and they simply don't like to wait a long time for a website to appear on their screen. So this is really important because of that, and also because Google uses this as a metric to see the quality of your website. So it's important for you to have a good uploading time for your website. And for you to check, for you to actually analyze the time that your website takes to upload, you can go to a website called Pingdom Test Speed. So you go over here to this website, and you just need to put the URL over here of your website, which is this one. Press test now, and this will actually see in a few seconds the amount of time that your website takes to upload. So actually it just took 1 second to upload my website, which is really fast. Has a good performance, this website. And this depends on a lot of different factors. It depends, for example, on if your web host has a good connectivity to the internet. If they have a slow connectivity to the internet, then your website will also take longer to upload. It also depends on the theme that you are using on your website. If you are using a theme that has a lot of coding, then it will take also longer for your website to upload. Another thing is also the plugins that you have installed on your website. If you have a lot of plugins installed on your website, then usually it takes longer for your website to upload, and also depends on the plugins that you are using. For example, some time ago I figured out that Jetpack, which is a plugin for WordPress, and actually it's a pretty good plugin, but I found out that it nearly took 1 second to upload on my website. And I know that 1 second might not sound much, but on the internet it's a huge amount of time. And if you want to see how you can actually analyze the amount of time that your plugins are taking to upload on your website, you can click on the link that you can see on the screen so you can watch my other video where I explain this all in detail. Another thing that you can do so you can improve the speed of your website is use a service called Cloudflare. And actually I'm going to leave the links on the description from this video so you can go to this website and the other one. But this is a free service, and it actually helps you improve the speed of your website. Basically what happens is when you have a website, all of the information of your website is installed on your web host servers. For example, if your web host servers resides in the United States, then if someone is trying to access your website from China, then it takes longer for that person to be able to see your website instead of someone who resides in the USA. So something that you can do is use this service called Cloudflare, and basically what happens is your website gets copied to their servers, and their servers are spread all over the world. So what happens is if someone is trying to access your website from China, then they will access the nearby server that they have, probably in Asia, and they will be able to see your website faster on their computer or mobile screen. So I really recommend for you to use this service because it helps you a lot when it comes to that. So that's about how you can improve your uploading time. Now let's talk about the plugins that you actually need to install so you can optimize your website. So let's go to WordPress dashboard and let's go to the plugin section and add new. The first plugin that you want to install is called WP Super Cache. And sometimes this comes already with the installation of WordPress. So as you can see, I already have this plugin installed. And I'm not going really in detail with how you can use this plugin and the other one, which I'm going to talk about next, because if I did that, then it would be probably more 2 hours of video, and you certainly wouldn't want to watch that. But if you want to learn more details about this plugin and the next one I'm going to talk about, I'm going to leave a link on the screen so you can click on that link and watch my other video where I explain them in detail. Anyway, WP Super Cache will allow you to improve the performance of your website so you can upload faster on someone's computer or mobile screen. The other plugin that you want to install so you can optimize your website, and this is really important, is called Yoast SEO. And this is possibly one of the best plugins out there for this. Basically, this plugin allows you to customize each page individually of your website so you can better rank those pages on Google. As you can see, I already have it installed, but if you don't have it installed, you will see the Install Now button, and you just need to press on this button and press in the next page Activate so you can start using this plugin. Then you can see that a new section will appear on your sidebar. And you want to go to this section because the first thing that you always want to do is simply optimize the front page of your website. So you go to SEO and you click on Titles and Metas. On Titles and Metas, you want to go to Homepage. And you can see that once you go to Homepage, you have over here a template, but you don't want to really use a template for this, because the reason why you don't want to use a template is because you want to optimize each page of your website. And it's important to notice that each page in your website can pretty much rank for one or even multiple keywords at the same time. So in this case, you put over here the keyword that you want. For some reason, I pressed OK. So over here, you put the keyword that you want for your home page. And it's important to notice that your home page is basically this one. And this is the meta title, and this is the meta description. The meta title and the meta description is the same title and the same description that will appear later on the Google search engine results page. So it's always important for you to add an enticing title where you include your keyword over here, and also an enticing description so people will actually see it and want to click on that link so they can go to your website. And also, this meta title will also appear on your tab section of your browser. Actually, once I change this, you will be able to see that it will change on the tab section of my website. So over here, it's really not relevant what I put over here. Let's say that best chocolate chip cookie. But you certainly want to put something that is more enticing than this. This is just an example. And over here, you just put a description. So you want to put over here a description and also the meta title. Over here, you want to include the keyword of your homepage, the one that you want to rank for, or you can even include several keywords, but make sure that you make this appear natural. Don't start spamming your keywords everywhere possible. As I said, nowadays it's about user experience, and you just put some keywords so Google will have an easier time identifying the content inside of your page. And you might want even to put over here a few keywords inside of your description, like chocolate chip cookie. And the reason why you want to put your keywords over here on description, it's not that nowadays this has any value when it comes to SEO, but the reason is in the search engine, when someone sees this page on the listing on Google, it will appear bold, and that will actually entice people to click on this link more than the other ones which probably don't have anything appearing bold on description. So once you have this part done, you just need to save changes. Now the other thing that you want to do is you want to go to this extension, which is XML sitemaps. On XML sitemap, there's not much that you really need to do over here. The only thing that you should make sure is if this function is actually working on your website or not, because sometimes it seems that I have a few problems when it comes to the XML sitemap. For some reason, it just doesn't work well on my website. But as the XML sitemap, if you don't know what it is, well, once I open this page, this is exactly what an XML sitemap. And don't worry, this is not for your visitors to be able to see it because it looks terrible, but it's only for Google robots to simply go to your website and having an easier time finding all of the pages that you have in your website. And this is especially important once your website grows a lot, you have a lot of pages in your website, because this allows the crawlers to more easily find your new content and that way index it quickly on Google search engine. Okay, so just to make sure that if this is working, you can also exclude posts or pages or even media from appearing on your sitemap if you want that, just by going to post types. You can even go to exclude posts and just put the ID belonging to that post so you can exclude from appearing on your XML sitemap, or even the categories, tags, and format. In this case, I'm just going to leave everything as standard and I'm not going to change anything. Now let's go to a post and let's talk about how you can actually optimize a post that belongs to your website. This is possibly one of the most important parts when it comes to optimizing your website. As you can see, I just have one post, but I'm going to create a new one and I'm going to optimize it. So I'm just going to press add new so I can add a new post on my website. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about several aspects so you can optimize your website posts, and many of the aspects I'm going to talk about now will actually help improve the quality of the content that you write for your website. The first thing I want to talk about is the amount of content that you should include in your posts. It has been proven more and more that Google is giving better rankings to websites that have posts with a lot of information, and posts that have at least 1,200 words have been doing better in the search engine. Now, I know that this is a lot of content, and if you have a website, many times it's hard for you to always write that amount of content for every single topic because some topics simply don't deserve so much content. Now, what I recommend for you to do is write some main content for your website. This can be some main articles that you include in your website. This can be how-to guides. This can be guides related to a service that you have in your website or about a product. And inside of these guides, you write at least 1,200 words or even more. And in these guides, you offer a lot of information about whatever you're writing about. And just by having this main piece of information inside of your website, it will actually help you achieve better rankings, not only for that main content, but also for the rest of your website. Okay, so you can do one or even more of this type of articles, and this will help you have better rankings on Google. And if you have, for example, an e-commerce website, I know that if you have this type of websites, what happens is you have a lot of products, and typically you just have this brief description of 300 or 400 words for each product, and that's not much content. Now, what you can do is you can include a blog inside of your website, a blog section where you offer guides, tutorials, or whatever you want to offer over there. And in your blog section, you have a lot of content, a lot of written content, inside of your articles. If you actually go to many e-commerce websites nowadays, you will see that many of them actually always have a blog section included. And that's because just adding this blog section to your e-commerce website will help you achieve better rankings for the rest of your website. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. And now let's just add some content, actually some fake content to this post that I have over here. So I'm going to a website for me to get this, which is this one, and words. Okay. I'm just going to copy this. And sure, you want to add real content to your website. Don't make the same thing I'm doing over here, but this is just an example. So this is the first thing that you should pay close attention to. The second thing is simply to include bulletin points inside of your content. Just make this an habit. And as I said, good SEO has become more and more about user experience. And what you really want is people go to your website and basically spend a lot of time reading your content, even going to other pages of your website, because all of this will tell Google that your website is certainly providing good content and it deserves to have higher rankings inside of their search engine. And adding bulletin points allows people to go to your website post and simply reading immediately the most important aspects about that topic. So just make this a habit. You can also have numbered lists. And this is not something that directly affects your SEO rankings. It's more something that affects indirectly because, as I said, if you have everything well organized, people will want to spend more time inside of your website, and that time that they spend on your website is really what will affect your rankings in Google. So this is something that you should always include. Other thing is to include good images inside of your posts. And in this case, with 1,200 words, I would include at least 5 or 4 good images. And the reason why you should include images is because after the person read your enticing title, and they enter into your post, it's really the images that you have inside of that post that attracts people to read the rest of your content. So you should always include a couple of images inside of your content. So I'm going to include over here, let's say, a few of them.
Just like this.
And if you want, you can even include a video inside of your content. And this really depends on the niche that you're integrated. Some niches have a tendency of using more videos inside of their content. Even though you already have all of this written content, you can also include a video. And typically, I like to include the video in the very top of my post, because many times people go to a website and they simply don't want to read 1,200 words and they just prefer to watch a video. And if you have a video, they will watch the video, and just imagine if that video is about 10 minutes, then that means that person will spend at least 10 minutes in your website. And that will tell Google that you are certainly providing good content because people are actually spending a lot of time in your website. The other thing is to include a good title. So you can just go to this bar and just include a good title. Let's see, best chocolate. Let's say how to make a website. Just like this. And make sure in this title to include, because this will be your main title for this post, make sure to include your keyword inside of this title, okay? And if you don't know, you can go to this website called, let me see, Title Analyzer, and write better headlines. So over here you can just grab this title, you go over here, you include inside of this blank space, analyze now, and you get a punctuation and it basically tells you how good this title is. So this will actually, as you can see, this title is nothing special, but this website actually helps you improve the quality of the titles that you have to your website. And your titles is really something very important in your website because you want to have enticing titles to every single post that you have on your website, because that's really one of the first things that attracts people to read your content is the title that you have. Now let's talk about the two most important parts where you should always include your main keyword. The first one is in the meta title belonging to your post or page of your website. And as I said previously, the meta title is the title that later on will appear on the search engine results page. So you can see once I go right below, now since I've installed Yoast SEO, I have this Yoast SEO box which allows me to optimize this page that I have in my website. Once I click over here, this snippet editor, I can pretty much put the title that I want later on appearing on the search engine results page. So you always want to put your main title over here, your main keyword over here, and also make this title really enticing, because that will improve the click-through that you later on will have for this page. And below you can add a description if you want for your website. And as I said previously, this doesn't really matter if you had your keyword or not, but the only reason why you want to have your keyword inside of your description is it's because later on it will appear bold on the search engine results page for your website. And that's something that actually attracts people in clicking on your website more. The other part is on the URL extension of your website. Now, I actually forgot to talk about something previously, but what you should always do is you go to settings of your website and you have this permalink section which you want to click on it. Once you go over here, what you want to do is you want to go below where it says custom structure, and you want to write exactly this. Post name, actually I already have it over here. So you want to put percentage, post name percentage, because this will let you actually put more easily the main keyword inside of the URL of your post, which is also very important because that's something that Google uses to identify the content that you have inside of that page. So now I'm going to do that, and actually I'm going to save this as draft. You can see that now the URL changed a bit, and now I don't have the date of this post appearing over here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press edit, and I'm going to write how dash. So basically I'm going to include my main keyword for this post over here. So you always want to have your main keyword inside of your meta title of that post, and also inside of the URL extension for that post. Those are the two most important parts where you should always include your main keyword for that post. When it comes to your content, you should try to include your main keyword inside of your content. But this really depends if it actually makes sense, because if you are targeting on your post a long tail keyword such as how to make a website or something that has even more words than this keyword, then it probably won't make much sense for you to integrate that inside of your post, because it's far more important for you to make content that is easily readable by the people who go to your website instead of just focusing your content on the search engine. Also, if you are talking about a specific niche, then you certainly will integrate relevant keywords inside of your content. For example, if I was teaching someone to make a website through WordPress, then I certainly would talk about WordPress inside of my post. And WordPress is actually a relevant keyword to how to make a website. Or if I was teaching someone to use how to make a website through HTML and CSS, then I certainly would talk about HTML and CSS throughout my content. And those words are related to how to make a website, and once Google goes to this post, they will see this words included inside of my post, and that will help them identify more easily what this content is all about. You should also include your keywords inside of your headers of your post. And in this case, you can see that I already done that, because this is my header one for this post. And actually, once you go to the coding belonging to this post, you can see that over here this is inside of my header 1. So you should always include your main keyword inside of your header 1. And then in your header 2 and so on, you can also include related keywords. As I said previously, it's important to notice that each post in your website can rank for multiple keywords at once. So a related keyword could be, for example, over here, how to make a blog with WordPress. And I could put this inside of my header 2. So I would go over here to paragraph and I would select header 2. So this would actually help me later on to rank for how to make a blog with WordPress. So you can do that. You can include secondary keywords inside of your header 2s and so on. And that will actually help you rank for those keywords also. Another thing that you should get in the habit of doing is including internal links inside of your website posts. Internal links is nothing more than you linking to another post that you have inside of your website. And the reason why you want to do this is because first you can include your keyword inside of that link, and that will help you rank more easily the other posts that you have in your website for that keyword. And also it helps Google more easily find other content that you have inside of your website. So for example, if throughout my content I decide to talk a little about search engine optimization, then I would do something like search engine optimization. I would select everything where I have search engine optimization. I would go to this small icon so I could create a link, and over here on URL I would put the link for the post where I talk about SEO. But in this case, in this website, I don't have a post related to that. But I would do that, and once someone clicked on this link, they would be taken to the other post where I talk about search engine optimization. And the reason why I include that has my anchor test search engine optimization is because in my other post, I'm trying to rank for that search for that keyword. And this allows you to more easily rank for that keyword because basically you are telling Google that that other post that you have inside of your website, you talk about search engine optimization. But you don't want to always include your keyword inside of your links. Sometimes you want to include click here or read more and so on. You really want to randomize this because if you always include the same keyword over and over again, Google won't like that. They will see you as someone who is trying to manipulate their system, and that's something that they simply don't like. So try to randomize this a bit. Use click here, read more, or use another keyword inside of your anchor test for your links. Another place where you also want to include your keyword is inside of the alternative test belonging to your images. And for you to change this, you simply click on your image, and once you do that, you can see that several new options appear, and you want to click on the one that says edit. Once you do that, you can see that a window pops out, and over here you have alternative test, and in this space you want to put your main keyword. And the alternative test appears, for example, if this image doesn't open up for some reason. Instead, the alternative test appears and it gives a brief explanation about what that image would be about. And also, it's something that Google uses so they can more easily identify the content that you have inside of that page. And alternative test also is something that you also want to randomize. You don't want to always include the same keyword in every single image that you have inside of that web page. So this is something that you really want to randomize. For example, making a blog would be something related to this keyword. So you really want to change this up and not always use the same keyword over and over again. Now I just need to press update, and there you go. And the last thing I'm going to talk about on-page SEO is you should always include external links inside of your posts. And basically what you want to do is you want to link to other websites that have related content as yours but have more influence on the internet than your website. The reason why you want to do this is because Google sees as good websites tend to link to other good websites. And by doing that, you're pretty much telling Google that your website is good because it's linking to other good websites. So what I could do is I could create a link to a post that Wikipedia has related to WordPress, because in this case I'm talking about how to make a website, and I would teach people how to make a website through WordPress. So I could link to a post that Wikipedia has talking about WordPress. So I'm actually going to Wikipedia once again. And once again, you can go to Wikipedia and you can pretty much see everything that I've mentioned throughout this video, them putting in practice. You can see that they use their keyword in the extension of their URL. You can see that they use the main keyword on their header 1 for their website page. You can see that throughout their content they have their keyword included. You can see that they also have internal links inside of their post. You can see that over here, free open source. Once I click on this link, I'm taken to another page that they have inside of their website where they talk about free open source software. You can also see that below they have plenty and plenty of external links to other websites that have related content to theirs. So you can pretty much see that Wikipedia is well optimized when it comes to SEO, and you can pretty much get all of the ideas which I've spoke about throughout this video. They pretty much put everything in practice. Also, they have a lot of information related to WordPress, as you can see. So this is exactly what you are trying to accomplish when it comes to your website. So what I'm going to do is simply, I'm going over here, and let's say that I'm talking about WordPress, so I want to link to a page that Wikipedia has related to that topic. So I just put WordPress, I make this has a link, and over here I simply put the URL for the page that Wikipedia has related to WordPress, and I just had a link, and when someone clicks over here, they are taken to Wikipedia. So that's something that you may actually want to do. Actually, it's something that I forgot to do is you always want to put open link in new tab, because you want to for people, once they click on that link, they are still in your website. You don't want people leaving your website and going to another one. So you always want to try and maintain people inside of your website. So those are all of the tips that I have for on-page SEO, and it will certainly help you a lot when it comes to that. So now let's go to off-page SEO. Off-page SEO consists mostly on you getting backlinks from other websites pointing to yours. Backlink is nothing more than a link inside of another website that is pointing to your own website. And the idea behind this is that website will pass some influence from their website back to your own website, and the influence that your website starts accumulating from having multiple backlinks throughout the internet will actually help your website boost its rankings inside of Google search engine. Now, a lot of things have radically changed over the years when it comes to getting backlinks to your website. In the past, all that really mattered was getting huge quantities of backlinks. It really didn't matter where you got your backlinks, and just by doing that you would get a good ranking inside of Google search engine. For example, people used to basically spin articles and leave in multiple websites similar to Easy Articles, and in each article they would leave a backlink to their website, and just by doing that they would get a good result inside of Google search engine. Or they would even build their own private network websites all owned by them, and in each website that they owned they would leave a backlink to their main website, and just by doing that they also would get good results on Google. Nowadays things really don't work that way. I don't recommend for you to use that kind of strategies, especially if you have intentions in having a website that will last long on the internet and not get penalized by Google. Because when you get penalized by Google, it's like one day you are receiving thousands of people coming from Google, and then the next day you aren't receiving anyone from Google. And that's how the penalizations from Google are. So you really want to avoid that. Nowadays, it's more important for you to get backlinks that come from high quality websites that belong to your niche. And also the process has really changed a lot over the years. In the past, it was mostly about building backlinks. And by this, I mean you were the one who was actually creating those backlinks to your website. But nowadays, it's mostly about earning backlinks, which is really different. You earn backlinks by having high quality content inside of your website, the type of content that people go to your website, they read it, and they want to share it inside of social media networks, such as in Facebook, on Twitter, on Google+, and even inside of their own website. It's also about using those social media networks so you can promote your content, and also using those social media networks so you can help people inside of your niche, because by helping people inside of your niche in Twitter and Facebook and so on, people will start seeing you as an authoritative figure inside of your niche and someone who they actually want to follow. So I'm going to give you a few tips so you can do that. The first thing I want to talk about is for you to start using the power of social media networks to either promote your content, but also to help people inside of those social media networks. And when it comes to this, there are a lot of social media networks out there, but quite honestly, there's only a few of them that I really suggest. The first one I want to talk about is Google+, and in Google+, you can create a page for your website, but also you can join several communities that belong to your niche, and inside of those communities, you can start promoting the content that you have in your website. Then you have Facebook, and in Facebook, you can create a fan page for your website where you can also promote your content, but also you can join several groups which work quite similar to the communities that you have in Google+, and inside of those groups you can start promoting the content that you have in your website. If your website is more related to images, then I always recommend for you to join Instagram. For example, if you have a photography website, then Instagram is really ideal because in Instagram people are constantly looking for new and cool images. Then you have also Pinterest, also great for a website that is mostly related to photos and images. And YouTube. YouTube is really amazing. If your website allows it, then you start using YouTube, because YouTube is the third largest website on the world that receives the most traffic, and it's always a great way for you to start building your brand, your website. You can build a channel and start promoting your content through videos. YouTube is really ideal for that. Also, you have Twitter, another really good platform where you can promote your content, your posts, and so on. And then you have Reddit. In Reddit, you have something called Reddits, or you can call it, well, communities. And you have communities that are related basically to anything that you can possibly imagine inside of Reddit. So you will certainly find a good community that you can join belonging to your niche, where you can start promoting the content that you have in your website, but also start helping people out inside of those communities. And when it comes to this, I recommend for you to initially join at least 3 social media networks and try to learn as much as possible about those social media networks so you can start getting more followers, so you can start getting people sharing your content more and more. So just do that, join three social media networks, and that's always a good start when you have a new website. The other website I want to talk about is called Quora. Quora is similar to Yahoo Answer. It's basically a website where people go and they ask questions, and, well, other people answer them. But the great thing about Quora is you can reply to several questions belonging to your niche, and you can give a good answer to them and include a link back to the content that you have in your website. And it's always a great way for you to promote your content. So I really recommend Quora because it has a lot of people at the moment using this platform. Another tip is for you to start commenting in at least 5 blogs within your niche that are more popular than your website. Now, the reason why you want to do comments in more popular websites is because many times those websites allow you to leave a link back to your website. And once someone clicks on the name that they can find on your comment, they're taken to your website. You're not properly doing this so you can get a backlink, because the backlinks that you get from the comment section from most blogs are quite irrelevant. But the reason why you are doing this is because those websites typically have a lot of people, and if you leave a helpful comment, people will actually click on your link and go to your website. So it's always a great way for you to get more people to your website. For you to be able to find a blog within your niche, what you can do is you can go to Google, and once you go to Google, you can search for best. In this case, I'm searching for SEO blogs, but you certainly want to include your niche over here instead of SEO. Best SEO blogs, and you can see that the first page that I have in this listing is top 10 sources to stay up to date. So I can go to this website and I can find 10 websites, or a listing of 10 websites where I can start leaving comments on their articles. Now, as I said, this is a great way for you to start pushing some traffic from those websites back to yours. Another thing that you can also do so you can market your website even more is for you to join at least 2 forums within your niche and try to be daily active inside of them. You can either leave questions or also help people out within your niche. And also, the great thing about some forums is, in some forums, each time that you leave a comment, you can also include a signature, and inside of this signature, you can also have a link to your website. Now, if you are actually leaving really helpful comments, many times people will be interested in checking what this link is, and they will click on it, and then they will go to your website. Now, this is quite similar to leaving comments in a blog. I mean, the links that you normally get from a forum, it's not very relevant when it comes to SEO. But the reason why you are doing it is because these forums many times have a lot of people, and that means that you might actually get a lot of traffic coming from these forums to your website. As I said before, nowadays it's all about earning links to your website, and you got to make that task really easy for the people who go to your website. So it's always a good idea to include social media buttons inside of your posts so people can easily share your content inside of Facebook, on Twitter, or whatever platform they like using. So for this, there are plenty of plugins out there for this purpose, but in my case, I like to use Social Media Feather, and this is a really good plugin. So Social Media Feather. So you just need to search for Social Media Feather. It's this first plugin. Just press install now. Activate the plugin. Then you can see that now I have this installed. I go to settings. And you have plenty of options over here, but the one that you want to use immediately is this one, display sharing buttons. So I'm just going to use this option so I can start using it. But you certainly, if you want to use this plugin, I recommend for you to check the rest of the options so you can get a better idea of what exactly you can do using this plugin. So once I press Save Changes, I get to my website. I'm actually going to this post over here, and you can see that now once someone reads my post, they have these social media buttons which allows them to share on Facebook this content, or on Twitter, and so on and so on. So this is a great plugin, and I really recommend for you to install it. Before I wrap this video up, I want to talk about one last missing ingredient so you can really succeed in SEO. And that last missing ingredient is called patience. You gotta be patient if you want to see any kind of results that come from SEO, because you might apply everything which I've spoke about in this video today on your website, but honestly it will take probably a couple of months until you start seeing any kind of results. Especially if your website is new, it might take 3 to 6 months until you start noticing any kind of traffic coming from Google. So be patient, always work on your website, build new content, and always apply the strategies which I mentioned in this video, and you will start seeing more and more traffic coming from Google. So this is really a long-term investment on the traffic that you can get to your website. And initially you should always focus on social media networks so you can start getting some initial traffic to your website, and that's always something that motivates you, because you will get some people reading your content, leaving some comments on your website, and so on. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoy and that you learn a lot in this video. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave a like below so you can also receive some weekly video updates where I